Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Nick Muzikowski, Right Approach Nutrition. I am your registered dietitian and licensed nutritionist. Today, what I want to talk about is how tracking your macros or really monitoring your food choices. I have a couple of bullet points here, so don't mind me if I'm looking down. But how tracking your macros or monitoring your food choices can really help you to see why foods aren't good or bad, and how there's a time and a place really for every food in our diet if we see fit for it. I know a lot of people they get caught up, right, in demonizing foods or looking at foods as good or bad or the choices. But we need to remember that foods aren't simply good or bad. They're foods. They're either nutritious and they'll serve us, or they won't. And it doesn't mean that they're good or bad, because there can be a time and a place for every food in our diet. There's context to everything. It's not as black and white as saying, do eat this or don't eat that. There's random lists that come out that tell you all the foods you should eat and all the foods you shouldn't, right? But it's important to remember that we all grow up eating in different ways, and we all grow up eating different things. And we're all gonna have very different diets depending on what our lifestyle is, the things we like to eat, how we like to nourish ourselves, and so on. It's not to say that there's not room for change, but in my own experience with working with people and coaching people, I found that people really revert back to the things they've been eating, but they realize it's not necessarily the foods that were bad, but just the habits, right? The behaviors, how much of things they were eating, how much of things they needed, that they were eating too little of, things like that. So bear with me here too. I see a lot about, people just kind of play the guessing game, or they assume because they put some vegetables on a plate, with a lean piece of meat or some kind of vegan dish that, they're eating healthy. Yes, indirectly, they're probably accumulating nutrients they otherwise wouldn't if they were to eat, say, something like, a fast food meal, right? But without intention, or without really knowing or monitoring the food choices, or knowing exactly why or when to eat these things, sure, it serves a purpose, but you're not really getting the full effect. Let me try to explain here. So, you are eating in a better way, I guess you could say, because you're getting more nutrients in your diet. But the more intentional you'll do it, it's not just such a guess game, right? Because people will just put fruits, vegetables, whatever it may be, on a plate and say, hey, I'm eating healthy now. Like, sure you are, but are you eating toward your goals? Do you understand? I feel like that is key to sustainably doing that, or sustainably staying on the diet and not yo-yoing back and forth, right? So as far as tracking calories and macronutrients, all the macronutrients are protein, carbohydrates, fats, right? And hence the term macro. They provide an abundance of calories in each one. So people that say, oh, I track calories, but I don't like macronutrients. Well, your calories are coming primarily from your macronutrient. I mean, they are coming directly from the macronutrients that you consume. So, it's best serves you if you do count both or follow both. And it doesn't need to be tedious. Or people that, just really want to monitor their food choices, maybe your goals aren't as rigid. You can do that too by portioning your food and less restrictive ways. If you're not really looking for, a particular, if you don't have a particular goal, where let's say you want to lose weight or you want to gain weight, if you're just looking to eat in a healthier way but monitor your portion sizes, then a good way to be able to do that is just to do just that, is to portion out your foods and be mindful of the plates and that you're using and the serving sizes that you're taking. So I know I got a little off track there, but again, like I said earlier in the video here, there's a time and a place for every food, and we shouldn't label foods as good or bad. And I say that because I see this term used all the time, and I see big time celebrities use it too all the time, and that's, cheat meal, right? I'm cheating on my diet. And more than likely, if you're cheating, right, it's because you're in an unsustainable, unstable situation. So i.e., you eat your chicken, rice, and broccoli all week, and your eggs, and you restrict yourself of all this food, so you binge out on a Sunday or Monday. And you binge out on these foods that you label otherwise as evil or bad for you, like pizza or mozzarella sticks or, a burger or something like that. And I don't really see that being a healthy relationship. I just see that more being a behavior problem, right? And someone being stuck in an unhealthy relationship with food and an unsustainable diet that doesn't fit them. But also, to label foods as, good or bad, it's more so the amount and the excess in which you're, or the excessive amount in which you're consuming them is what should be, more so looked at, not the actual food in itself. Because if you're doing something, let's say like tracking your macronutrients, right, and you understand the properties and components of food, and you understand why they aren't good or bad. Now, let's say I'm tracking my calories, 2,000, and I'm tracking my macronutrients, and I happen to, be eating a diet that's rich in nutrients, and I have a craving for, let's say, some ice cream. So now that I've planned and I know exactly, what my allowance is, you want to look at your calories and your macronutrients as a budget for the day that you don't want to exceed, right? And if you do, go a little above or below, that's fine. We're looking for consistency, not perfection here, right? But you want to look at it in this way as like, all right, here's my budget, here's what I'm allotted. All right, I've been eating in this way. I now have a craving for, let's say, something sweet, all right, or something salty, but we'll stick with ice cream for the example. So now when it comes to planning, instead of restricting myself from all these foods, and then when I finally get that taste of ice cream, I binge out, I far exceed my calories, and now I'm discouraged to go back into a rigid diet plan and restriction, and I'm totally off the map. Instead, I'm fitting the ice cream into my diet, maybe at the end of the night, maybe after a workout, whenever it is you please, but still hitting my calorie amount. I'm taking something out. Maybe I take out the afternoon snack that I have and it's equivalent in calories, or maybe I take away a little from a meal that I commonly eat and plug that in. But now I'm still hitting my calorie goal and my macronutrient target for the day. And I'm not cheating on my diet. It's actually serving me, because mentally it's serving me, because I'm addressing a craving that I'm having. And also, it's going to keep me from binging out more than likely, because I get a taste for what it is I'm craving. I acknowledge that, and I'm still staying on track with my goals at the same time. I didn't cheat on my diet. I didn't throw away my diet. My diet's still sustainable, and I also got to eat what it is I was desiring or craving. It's kind of a give to get. Now, is that something that you have to learn and really learn how to control yourself? Yes, I definitely feel that's something that takes time. Like with anything in the beginning, it's important to start with basics and fundamentals and then kind of add this in. But if you're somebody that's already familiar with tracking your calories or whatever, this is really a big part to understanding a flexible diet, and a diet that's going to serve you best. Because we're not robots, we're not rigid, we're not built to just be, live within these constrained, rigid guidelines, especially not with our diet, right? Because we like to go on travel, we like to do things, we like to experience different cultures and try new things. Like, we like food. I mean, food's a very powerful thing. We end wars by breaking bread together, right? Like, that's how wars are ended. Leaders come together to break bread to bring peace. Like, food is a very powerful thing, and it's very deep in all cultures. So it's important to remember the power of that. And we don't want to restrict ourselves from things we've been eating our entire life, but maybe just establish a better relationship with them overall. So again, I appreciate you listening to this message. That's where I'm going to cut it at this point. Again, these are conversations are off the hip, and I'm sorry if I go a little left, a little right, but I feel like I've hit the points that I wanted, and I stayed the goal. Just like your diet, right? If you veer a little to the left or you veer a little to the right, if you have a plan, if you're following your macros, or if you're tracking your calories and you have goals, they'll keep you from going far left or far right off the plan to where you can't get back on the path, where you steer a little bit, but ultimately you're still going forward, right? And that's all we're looking to do. We're looking for consistency here, not perfection, because that's real life. We're not built to be perfect, okay? We are built to be consistent, but it's up to us to implement that in our lives and have enough self-awareness to be able to do that. And that will come in time. So give yourself time, and I hope you're able to take something away from this video. And if you like this video, please like or subscribe or comment on it. If you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to me, and I look forward to hearing from you all. But this is Nick again, registered dietitian, Right Approach Nutrition, out.